State teacher evaluations have been released, how local teachers fared, plus Carrie Schneider is back with our friends at the Du Bois County Humane Society, and Judy Brown and Adam Dumond are tonight's guests on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. State teacher evaluations have now been released and local teachers got a good report card for the most part. Yesterday's release by the Indiana Department of Education marks the first time that teacher evaluation data has either been compiled or released to the public. A teacher in Indiana can be evaluated into one of 4 different categories. These are highly effective, effective, improvement necessary, or ineffective. The evaluations were implemented after legislation mandating them was passed back in 2011. Now, the data for all of the schools in our viewing area is listed on your screen. Locally, Northeast and Southeast Du Bois had all of their teachers rated either highly effective or effective, whereas Greater Jasper and Southwest Du Bois each had teachers under the improvement necessary category. Looking to other parts of our viewing area, data was not available for Lagodi, Tell City, and South Spencer schools. However, other districts such as North Davies and Washington schools fared well. In all, about 88% of teachers or administrators statewide were in the effective category. Only 2% were shown as needing improvement. About 10% of educators were exempted due to their district having not reopened teacher contracts since the legislation was passed. Now, some experts have questioned the evaluation data. They say the fact that only 2% of teachers statewide are listed as needing improvement shows that some schools don't take the rating system seriously. Indiana Chamber of Commerce policy expert Derek Redelman says the evaluations could lead to school performance improving. However, he says some of the reported rankings are not realistic. A Huntingburg woman was taken into custody after she was found to have been driving intoxicated while going to get her dog. At 10:45 yesterday morning, a Huntingburg police officer was called to a residence in the 700 block of Applewood Road on a report of a dog found there. Before arriving at the scene, the officer called 41-year-old Stephanie Fisher to make arrangements for her to get the dog. Police say the officer saw Fisher slide past the driveway, back up, pull in, and park halfway up the lane while he was outside waiting on her. The officer then noticed Fisher was staggering after she exited her vehicle. She was also found to not be wearing shoes in spite of cool temperatures and heavy rains falling. Police say once she made it into the house, Fisher stumbled again and went outside to get a leash for the dog. That's when the officer followed her and asked her if she had been drinking. Fisher admitted to the officer she had been drinking in advance of her birthday and had drank a couple of shots. Fisher was taken to the Huntingburg Police Station after failing a portable breath test. There, her BAC was found to be 0.23%, or nearly 3 times the legal limit. Fisher was lodged in the Du Bois County Security Center on operating while intoxicated charges. She has since been released on bond. Local results of a month-long crackdown on drunk driving coinciding with St. Patrick's Day have now been released. The Du Bois County Sheriff's Department, the Jasper Police Department, and Indiana State Police have announced results from the extra patrols. Huntingburg and Ferdinand Police also took part in the Blitz. One of the main focuses of the Blitz was a March 14th sobriety checkpoint at the Brettsville Junction. Authorities say 193 vehicles went through the checkpoint between 10:30 p.m. and 12:30 a.m. They say no drunk drivers were found, though they did issue 3 equipment warnings, a seatbelt ticket, a ticket for a suspended license, and an additional traffic ticket. In all, 15 officers participated in the sobriety checkpoint. Du Bois County Sheriff's deputies worked 20 hours of overtime and issued 14 traffic warnings during the Blitz. 11 tickets were written up for seatbelt violations, and 1 person was arrested for felony drunk driving. Meanwhile, Jasper police officers worked 50 hours of overtime. They issued 2 tickets for child restraint violations during that time. 2 impaired drivers were arrested during the Blitz. In all, 33 tickets were issued for miscellaneous violations and 105 warnings were given out. 2 drivers were charged with driving while suspended, making for a total of 3 people being taken to jail. Authorities say alcohol and/or illegal drug use contributed to 388 crashes on Indiana roadways during the same time period last year. 114 of those resulted in injuries, with 4 people killed. Police say 158 people were injured. The Du Bois County Community Foundation has announced a new fellowship opportunity for nonprofits across the area. Nonprofit Fellows is set to make funding available for eligible nonprofits with the goal of engaging interns from Indiana colleges and universities. The program is part of the DCCF's Better Together initiative. The new program also aims to support two of the initiatives of the Community Foundation. These are helping to build healthy nonprofit organizations in Du Bois County and providing college students with real-life work experience. As part of the initiative, a student who completes 300 or more hours of service at an eligible nonprofit will then be eligible for a $3,000 scholarship towards their continued education. Part-time fellowships would also be considered, and that would adjust the eligible scholarships accordingly. Now, this year's program marks the second year of a 2-year pilot program. Last year, Du Bois County Museum hosted Hillary Waltz Fleck as the intern director of the museum. Fleck is a current student at Indiana University where she is pursuing a Master's of Art degree. Foundation officials are hoping that nonprofits will use the new opportunity to address both the needs of the nonprofit and the students' interests and abilities. Applications for the program can be found by going online to the DC Community Foundation's website. Fellowship opportunities can be discussed either by calling the DCCF or the Du Bois County Museum. The deadline for applications is April 16th. Finally this evening, a former teacher at a southwestern Indiana middle school has pleaded guilty to charges that he secretly video recorded students and teachers in bathrooms and locker rooms. 32-year-old Andrew Emmons entered the guilty plea during a Warwick County court hearing on Monday to charges of attempted child exploitation and voyeurism. Emmons was charged after a female faculty member at Boonville Middle School found a recording device in a staff bathroom back in 2012. Police say investigators found video on his computer of female students changing clothes in a locker room. Defense attorney Anthony Long says that Emmons didn't want the students to have to testify in a trial and that he has been undergoing therapy for sexual addiction issues. His sentencing is set for May 22nd. All right, coming up after the break, Carrie is back with our friends at the Du Bois County Humane Society. Plus, rain is now gone and a warm-up on the way in your local forecast. Sports with Kurt Buchsel and Inform featuring Judy Brown and Adam Dunlund. That's all up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.